Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Welcome to Rogers Center. A gorgeous afternoon, a late afternoon start. It's 24 degrees, and the Arizona Diamondbacks will pack up after this game and head to Denver to take on the Rockies, a short two-game series. They won last night 4-2. For just the 11th time in their franchise history, they won a ball game with 3 or fewer hits. They won 4-2 last night. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Jean Segura, 27 multi-hit games in 2016. Last night he walked twice and had a couple of stolen bases. Ricky Weeks Jr. He's faced Jay Happ a lot. Both of them spent a lot of time in the National League, and he is 8 for 19 against the Jays, the lefty. In fact, this is one of the best hitting ball clubs against left-handed pitching in all of baseball.
So Jay's got his work cut out for him, making his 15th start of the season. He's 8-3 with a .341 earned run average. He's coming off a good start against the Phillies, where he gave up just 1 unearned run in 7 innings. He's thrown at least 6 innings in 12 of his 14 starts this season. He had 2 appearances versus Arizona last season, 1 in relief, 1 as a start. All told, 7 scoreless innings versus the Diamondbacks last year. Need some more of that this afternoon against this team.
Jay Happ is set. Segura in the box. Here's the first pitch of the game. Cut on and lifted to right. Darryl Siciliani playing in right field for the first time in his career. Had that ball travel a little further than he expected. Siciliani playing in place of Ezekiel Carrera in right.
Siciliani is a very good outfielder. Keeps his eye on that baseball as he crashes into the wall. No problem.
This is just his 14th major league start. You can see he can laugh about it now because he was able to make the catch. This is his first start in right, as we mentioned. Phil Gosselin playing at third base. There's a first pitch strike to him. Jake Lamb, a left-handed batter, was at third last night. Another fly ball. This one a routine fly into center. Pilar comes out of the shadows to make the catch. 2 up, 2 down. Take a look at the defense, the way it sets up behind Jay Happ. Michael Saunders, Kevin Pilar, and Darryl Siciliani. From left to right. On the infield, it's Donaldson and Tulowitzki on the left side. Travis and Smoke on the right side. Russell Martin's making his 55th start behind the plate, teaming up with Jay Happ.
Well, we already saw him in right field. Darryl Siciliani will get the start up there. Ezekiel Carrera hurt his Achilles tendon going first to third last night on that base hit by Devin Travis. He says he could still play today. We might see him as a pinch hitter later on. But Siciliani will get the start this afternoon in right field.
This is Paul Goldschmidt batting, and he had his 13-game hit streak snapped last night. Goldschmidt went 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts.
He also had an on-base consecutive streak of 23 straight games snuffed out by the Blue Jays last night.
Three 3-0 as Happ falls behind quickly. Jay Happ won his 8th game last time out against his former team, the Philadelphia Phillies. Blue Jays got him a lot of runs. He had a 3-0 lead before he ever towed the rubber.
He was telling me after that game that he just didn't feel real comfortable on the mound, that the sinker, a pitch that he has really thrown a lot this year and he's gotten a lot of ground ball with, he just didn't have the release point in that game.
He loses Goldschmidt there.
So he had to make some other adjustments. He said he threw a few more curveballs, a few more fastballs last outing. Blue Jays scored him a ton of runs, so it didn't matter that he was off just a little bit.
Blue Jays won that game 13-2. Goldschmidt walks with 2 outs, and that'll bring Ricky Weeks to the plate. And Jay Happ, he knows all about Ricky Weeks, and he would have preferred to have Weeks leading off the next inning. Ricky Weeks is 8 for 19 against Happ with a pair of home runs.
You know, you should dig a little bit deeper into those stats also. You mentioned the 19 at-bats that he has had against Jay Happ. He's also struck out 7 times against Jay, so he's got him on a couple of occasions.
Weeks was 0 for 3 last night with a walk and a run scored. Happ's ahead quickly. Ricky Weeks spent 11 years with the Milwaukee Brewers. He was a terrific player for them. Hit 148 home runs in his career in Milwaukee. Spent last season with the Seattle Mariners. 0-2, 2 outs. Jay Happ elevates. There's another strikeout. You were right on the money. That's 8 strikeouts for Happ against Ricky Weeks. Offensively last night they lost 4-2. They out-hit Arizona 8-3, but they only had 4 runners in scoring position. Let's take a look at the lineup for John Gibbons Blue Jays as they start play 5 games over 500. Devin Travis hitting leadoff. He's got an 8-game hit streak. He extended that with a hit late in the game last night. 452 over those 8 games, and down in the 8th spot, Kevin Pillar. He too's put together a nice stretch over his last 14. He's hitting over 350 with 8 extra base hits, and yesterday, for good measure, he threw in a terrific catch in center.
Well, they get a left-hander this afternoon, making his first career start versus the Blue Jays is Robbie Ray in his 2nd season with the Diamondbacks after spending parts of 5 seasons with the Nationals and the Tigers organization. He's coming off consecutive strong outings as Ray, most recently giving up just 2 runs in 6 innings. He too pitched against the Phillies last Friday.
Devin Travis takes the first pitch strike. Devin extended his hit streak with a single in the 7th inning. Inside pitch fouled straight back. That base hit was significant not only because it extended his hit streak, but on that play Ezekiel Carrera went first to third, and that's when he strained his Achilles.
Yeah, that's what he said. He felt it just a little bit. Not sure. He said I might be able to play. I just want to make sure. He said I could pinch hit this afternoon. We figured that we would see Devin Travis at some point in the leadoff spot against one of these lefties.
He was hitting 2nd in last night's game and went 1 for 4 in that game.
You know, if you're the Blue Jays, get used to the lefties. They get 2 in this series. They get 2 more in the next series against the Chicago White Sox. So the righties get a chance to have that breaking ball come at them instead of going away from them.
Upstairs, it's a full count to Devin Travis. A lot of good right-handed hitters in this Blue Jays lineup, and Donaldson will be next. Ground ball Foul outside of third. It's interesting, both of these clubs, we talked about the Diamondbacks and how well they hit left-handed pitching. Same for the Blue Jays, but their records are identical against left-handed starters. They're both 10-12. Go figure.
Go figure. Good batting average, but a losing record. There's a lot of right-handed thump in both of these lineups if you look at them this afternoon. There's one right there.
Another 3-2 pitch. Foul back. Boyd Evans having good at bats. He is battling, seeing pitches well, letting the ball travel.
He's hitting the fastball to right field and he's pulling the breaking ball. That's always a good sign when you're able to do that. Timing looks like it's coming around for him.
Popped up behind second. Segura goes out into the outfield, makes the catch. Travis retired. Arizona's got a pretty good defensive ball club. There's a catcher playing in left field, Pete O'Brien. He is trying to make the transition. This is his 9th start. Michael Bourne, Yasmani Tomas, center and right. Doug Aslan makes the start at third. Ahmed and Segura up the middle. Paul Goldschmidt, a 2-time Gold Glover, over at first. And Wellington Castillo behind the plate today.
The shortstop is pretty good. We had a chance to talk to Orlando Hudson yesterday, and he said this is a good kid. He's got great hands. He reminds him of J.J. Hardy. He's first in the National League in total chances with 311. He's also first in the National League in assists with 213. They get a lot of ground ball outs like we saw yesterday, and he gobbles them up.
Josh Donaldson takes the first pitch strike. Robbie Ray's a little different pitcher than Patrick Corbin in that he's got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Corbin used a lot of sinking fastballs and breaking balls.
He's averaging 94 miles an hour on his 4-seam fastball. He's not a real big guy, but you can hear him after every fastball running and punching it up there. It's the 4-seam fastball. It's the 9th highest mark among all lefty starters. You know who's number 1? James Paxton from the Seattle Mariners, averaging, get this, 98 miles an hour on his 4-seam fastball.
Upstairs, 96 on that fastball. 2-1 to Donaldson. Josh, last night reached on an error in the first, and after the game they changed that error to a base hit, so he ended up with a 2-hit night. Line down the right side. That's a fair ball up against the wall into the corner. Donaldson is headed for second. Here's the throw from Tomas, and Josh has a 1-out double, his 18th double. That ties him for the team lead in that department.
You know, when a guy throws as hard as Robbie Ray throws, you don't want to overswing. You just want to make sure you get the bat head out, and you want to take it nice and easy. Watch how controlled this swing is by Josh Donaldson. Not a lot of extra movement. Just use your hands. Look at this. Just flick it out there for extra bases. That's how you want to hit a guy who's throwing 95 plus.
So Donaldson's in scoring position for Edwin Encarnacion. Blue Jays were 1 for 4 last night with runners in scoring position. Edwin jumps back from that inside heater.
They do so much damage at the top of the lineup, do the Blue Jays. Even with Jose Bautista now out of the lineup, you've got Travis, Donaldson, Encarnacion, and Saunders, some of the hottest hitters that the Blue Jays have.
It is Parrot Day, as the Blue Jays have given away T-shirts with a sleeve covered with parrot feathers. It's quite an attractive giveaway. And they're all anxious to wave their T-shirts today and watch the parrot go around the bases.
Hey, we have ours, right? We got our parrot T-shirts.
There you go. You can see the colorful feathers on that right sleeve. Number 10 on the pocket.
Do something special on your day.
3-0. Takes ball 4, nothing close. So Encarnacion will take the walk. It's first and second, 1 out. Now everybody takes it for granted that Michael Saunders Not very good lefty on lefty, but they're sadly mistaken.
All you have to do is look into the numbers for Saunders, and he's been hitting lefties. That's why John Gibbons has elevated him into that number 4 spot to pick up the base hits if the teams are going to pitch around Edwin Encarnacion. And Robbie Ray just pitched around him. He wanted nothing to do with them. Thinks he's going to take his chance here with Michael Saunders.
The only regular in the Blue Jays lineup that's hitting higher against lefties is Josh Donaldson, hitting .313. Saunders hitting .309.
Now he takes that breaking ball. He's also hitting a plus fastball. He's in the top 10 in major leagues and hitting a fastball that's 94 plus. Pitchers think they can get a ball by him. Got a lot of moving parts, but he gets it on time.
Saunders has hit 6 home runs against left-handed pitchers. That ties him with Edwin Encarnacion in that category for Blue Jays league. Edwin has 6. Saunders has 6. Blue Jays are the 3rd best scoring team in the first inning in the majors. They've scored 51 first inning runs. Inside, Saunders almost walked into that one.
It's those guys at the top of the lineup when Bautista's here. Now we got Travis, Donaldson, Encarnacion. Like we said last night, they were 4 for 14 top 4 hitters in the Blue Jay lineup.
Well, Blue Jays are doing a great job of not offering it any of those borderline pitches. It's 3-1 now to Saunders. Russell Martin is on deck. Robbie Ray making his first start against the Blue Jays. Ray's just 24 years old. He was originally drafted by the Nationals in 2010. He went from the Nationals to the Tigers for Doug Fister in December of 2014. Saunders caught looking at strike 3.
You know, I want to know, how do you give up on an arm like this, especially from the left side? You mentioned the Nationals, the Tigers, and now Arizona. It's a 96-mile-an-hour fastball that's painted down and away. Hits the glove.
Yeah, you know, you look at a young arm like this, you say, well, if he doesn't make it as a starter, he can be a terrific left-hander out of the bullpen. That in itself has a lot of value.
There's not a lot of lefties that throw this hard out of the bullpen.
Russell Martin with 2 outs. Tell you what, he's going to work out his catcher today, Wellington Castillo. He throws that hard breaking ball in the dirt down around the feet of the hitter.
He'll end up walking guys. He'll end up giving up his fair share of base hits also. That's why that whip is elevated. Pelfrey, Shields, Liriano, and then Robbie Ray this season in Major League Baseball with the highest whip. So he'll give up his share of base runners, but he's got the stuff to escape these types of predicaments with the stuff that he has.
Ray was actually traded from the Nationals to the Tigers in 2013, and then he came to Arizona, part of a 3-team deal between Arizona, New York, and Detroit. That was in December of 2014. 1-1. Strike 2. 1-2 to Russell Martin. Blue Jays knocking on the door here in the first inning. Josh Donaldson hit a 1-out double. Encarnacion walked. Saunders called out on strikes. Now Russell Martin.
Tell you what, if you're patient with him, you're going to make him throw a lot of pitches and you're going to have a lot of walks. Devin Travis had a good at bat. Looked like he might have swung at ball 4 a couple of times as the leadoff batter. This is 26 pitches now already in the first inning.
Another full count. Runners with 2 outs will be off on the pitch. Troy Tulowitzki, fresh off the disabled list, has 4 hits in his last 2 games. Donaldson will break from second, and Encarnacion will follow suit from first. Martin fouls it into the seats. Runners will head back to their bases.
I think there's only one pitch, if you're Russell Martin, you're looking for right now. You are looking for the fastball.
Well, the biggest challenge is you have to make sure it's a strike, because he throws it 95, 96 miles an hour.
Doesn't give you a lot of time, does it, to react to it? He's got one of the highest whiff percentages on the fastball this season. But you just sit on it right now. Well, that's how you hit a 3-2 fastball. You sit on it, you wait till he comes inside with it, and then you let it go. Russell Martin shortened things up. Put a charge into that one into left center field.
Martin all of a sudden with 28 RBIs. Really starting to get that stroke together. Home run number 6 for Russell.
Home run number 6 on the season, home run number 3 at home, and that's where he likes it, down and in. Takes it out of here. There's an overswing. 3 quick RBIs for Russell.
Blue Jays have now scored 54 runs in the first inning. The Nationals and the Red Sox are tied for first. They both scored 60 runs in the first. Troy Tulowitzki after that high pitch.
We featured Tulo in the opening today, and we were talking about that he was hot before he got hurt. Unfortunately, he had to miss 3 weeks of the season, but before that time where he hurt his leg in New York, his slugging percentage was over 600. Starting to drive the ball.
Ray misses upstairs. That's pitch number 32 for Ray here in the first inning. Speed pitch pulled foul. Tulowitzki has 3 at-bats against Robbie Ray. He's 2 for 3 in those at-bats. Russell Martin has given the Blue Jays a 3-0 lead with his 6th home run of the season. Tulowitzki strikes out. That ends the inning, but the Blue Jays get a big swing of the bat from Russell Martin, their catcher. With 2 aboard, a 3-2 pitch with 2 outs. Russell goes deep. The Blue Jays have a 3-0 lead.
Not surprised by the amount of great catches Kevin Pillar makes, but sometimes he's surprised how easily Kevin gets up, dusts himself off, and gets back into the game. I asked Kevin about his threshold for pain. He tells me it all started when he was a young kid, getting beaten up by his older brother and his friends playing basketball. He said that later on when he was a teenager, he called himself out of a game because he was exhausted, a basketball game. He said that night his dad tore a strip off him, said, "You need to make yourself in better shape, physically stronger, so you don't have these issues." Guys, he says every time he's out in center field, as soon as he hears the crack of the bat, if there's a ball that he thinks there's a chance he's going to be able to dive or jump for, the adrenaline goes, and he cannot wait to do whatever it takes to catch that ball.
Well, for a great defensive player like Kevin Pillar, it's like hitting a home run. You save a run, you take an extra base hit away, you really energize your team. I think that's the beauty of defense, and there are a few places you can make plays like that on the field that really have an impact, and center field is certainly one of them.
Plays the game with no fear. I mean, he hit that wall. You could hear it all the way up here yesterday.
It says Wellington Castillo. And the Diamondbacks, they hit home runs, and Wellington is part of that mix. He's got 8 home runs for the season. Wellington has hit .353 against lefty pitching so far this season.
They got a nice little platoon working over there in Arizona. Chris Herman looked pretty good yesterday.
Yeah, Chris Herman did a nice job behind the plate and at the plate, and there's a long foul into the 5th deck. Don't plan on getting too many foul balls up there.
Yeah, when you buy your ticket, you find out where you're sitting. Do you have a chance of getting a ball? Probably not.
Jay Happ turns that ball over and gets a strikeout. His second strikeout. That'll bring to the plate Peter O'Brien, and he's already got 4 home runs.
Well, you talk about power. Watch this power. It's a pitch that's away from him, and he just muscles the ball right off the foul pole down the right field line. 4 home runs, and he's done that in just 33 at-bats. The average is down, as you can see that, and he's prone to the strikeout. He struck out 13 times in those 33 at-bats.
O'Brien was originally a 2nd-round pick of the New York Yankees. And you can see the leverage he has at the plate. O'Brien was a catcher, as we mentioned, and he went to University of Miami and was drafted in 2012 by the Yankees in that 2nd round.
Big guy. They have a lot of big guys on this team. I think you're going to have to pitch him inside and throw him a lot of off-speed pitches. Pitch him inside so he doesn't extend those arms. You want to be able to tie him up on the inner half and then throw that breaking ball like he just did.
Pitches into the seats. O'Brien had 17 home runs in AAA, as you saw, and that's why they called him up here.
Most in the minor leagues this year. They brought him up to hit home runs. Instant offense.
One, two, he wouldn't chase.
For Jay Happ, tempo is so important. A couple of years ago, he was taking a lot of time in between pitches and trying to think in his mind what he wanted to do. Now he's like, I got to trust myself, and I got to trust what the catcher throws down there. And you can see Jay very confident on the mound, working a lot quicker. And he's going to go with what Russell says.
Russell gave him a little extra fist pump after calling for that slider, and Jay took a minute to gather his thoughts, and he delivered.
Got to go with your catcher. You got to have a lot of faith, and you've got a good one in Russell Martin. There's the spin of the breaking ball, and you can see how it gets underneath the bat of O'Brien.
That just really validates the call when Russell gives him that fist pump, and he really then buys into it.
You know, that's another thing that Jay was saying is I'm going to go with what my catcher says. He's the guy all over those scouting reports.
Bouncing ball to Smoke. Tomas is retired on the ground down. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Martin and Happ doing a good job early on.
To be sitting in those big comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Sauna today. We welcome guests of TD, and we also want to wish a very happy birthday to Verna Willows, who is with us at the ball game today. Guys, she's 90 years young. She was at the first Blue Jays game at Exhibition Stadium back in 1977. Here's the best stat of it all. She began playing slow pitch at the age of 70. Guys, a very happy birthday from all of us to Verna.
Absolutely, and Verna is old enough to remember when I played. Happy birthday, Verna. We're glad you're enjoying a great afternoon here on your birthday. Smoke Pilar and Siciliani, and Smoke lines out to the shortstop. Nick Ahmed, 1 down. So Kevin Pilar got a nice round of applause. He's very popular here. He goes about business the right way. Kevin drove in the only 2 Blue Jay runs in last night's game. He had a 2-run double in the 4th.
Banged up against that wall, he was telling me, around the batting cage today. Hit the elbow, jammed it just a little bit. Not bad enough to take him out of the lineup.
That's down the left side, but it's going to hook foul. Nice play by a fan that brought his glove here today. Canada loves Pilar. They love the way he goes about his business. I guess you would call him a grinder.
Yeah,
gamer. One of those guys that goes out there every day and just gives you everything he's got.
He's a gamer. Plays the game the right way, and you weren't going to take him out of the lineup, especially with a left-hander on the mound this afternoon. You got to play if you're a right-handed batter every time there's a lefty.
1-2 to Pilar. Line drive into center. Michael Bourne over. He's going to cut it off and makes the catch. 2 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Thank you very much, Jamie. And here's the reason the Yankees won. Betances an inning, 2 strikeouts. Miller an inning, 2 strikeouts. Chapman an inning, 2 strikeouts. Thank you very much. They just stopped the bleeding right there after the 6th.
Don't even give you a chance, huh? Do they?
Yeah, you better have the lead before you get to the 7th against the Yankees. And that Colorado team can hit. They scored 8 runs on 9 hits, but none after they went to the bullpen. Actually, Anthony Swarzak gave up some runs in relief of CC Sabathia, but once you get to
the big guys, forget it. The
Run
trio.
BMC, they're calling them in New York.
Run to the showers.
This is Daryl Siciliani. He too celebrating a birthday today. His 26, so happy birthday to Daryl. See his numbers with the Mets a year ago.
First start as a Blue Jay. This is his second game. He got into a game in Baltimore in the outfield in one of those blowouts that we had down there. He can hit.
Yes, he can, and he's rare in this game today in that he doesn't use batting gloves. Chokes up on the bat a little bit. 2-2 pitch to Siciliani. Outside. Daryl came to the Blue Jays in a deal with the Mets for cash considerations on the 2nd of February this spring. He had a good spring and had an outside chance of making the club. He broke and went to Buffalo and then hurt his shoulder. Second or third game in Buffalo, made a throw and injured his shoulder, and took him a long time to rehab, but he didn't have to go under the knife, and said he feels pretty good.
Came down to one of the last cuts in spring training. I thought he had an excellent chance because he was a bench player with the Mets over in the National League, and if you're a bench player, fourth outfielder type, you got to have that type of swing, that short, that, you know, if you're called upon that day, you don't have a lot of moving parts. You don't have a big swing that you got a short swing you can just continue to hit even though you sit for 3 or 4 days. He's got that type of tool.
Foul tip into the catcher's glove, and Siciliani strikes out. 3 up, 3 down. The Blue Jays go quietly in their half of the second.
Academy. We will hosting 14 Honda Super Camps across Canada. Learn techniques from former Blue Jays such as Roberto Alomar, Devon White, Lloyd Mosby, Jesse Barfield, and Dwayne Ward. Register now at bluejays.com/camps. And speaking of former Blue Jays, Buck, a lot of them in town this week for the Joe Carter golf tournament.
Yeah, there are, and there are a lot of sports celebrities, a lot of entertainment celebrities. Joe Carter does a great job of raising some awareness to come to Toronto and have a great golf tournament.
We spent Monday with a lot of the guys who are going to be involved in those super camps, and every one of them are itching and excited about getting started with those super camps.
And Devon White stayed over, and Cito Gaston, I'm sure, is going to participate in Joe Carter's event.
There was Joe right there, throwing a big party here at the ballpark this afternoon.
Nick Ahmed, the shortstop, batting 8th. Pops this one up into the outfield. Pilar comes in, he calls for it and makes the catch.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Rogers 4K TV. Get closer to the action with 4 times the resolution of HD alone.
Jay Happ will now work to the number 9 hitter, Michael Bourne. Bourne was 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts in the last night's game. Bourne was with the Blue Jays for a short while early in the spring. He was released by the Jays as he was playing in Dunedin with the A-ball club. Released on May 7th. He's had quite a career. 11 years in the majors. He was originally a 4th round pick of the Phillies in 2003. Spent 4 seasons with Houston. Won a Gold Glove in 2009 with Houston. It's another ball in the air. Saunders back pedals and makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down here in the 3rd.
Jay Happ will give up his share of fly balls. He's a fly ball type of pitcher. When the sinker's working and the cutter's working and he's keeping it down, he'll get a lot of ground ball outs. But today, it's been up just a little bit. A lot of lazy fly balls here through the first 3 innings.
Yeah, that's a new wrinkle he's added this year, is the ability to get those ground balls. He's 3rd in the American League in inducing ground ball double plays. Russell wanted that pitch. He liked where that one was.
Yeah, can't get hurt down there, right on the outside corner like that. Tough to walk this guy right here. Gene Segura got a couple of walks in last night's game. Says he's not trying to walk. He says my game is to swing the bat, but 2 walks last night. That gives him 8 walks in the month of June. He only drew 5 in the first 2 months of the season.
Now he's got 16 for the season, and he's not about walking. I tell you what, when you look at him, he looks like a young Ricky Weeks at the plate. And Ricky was just starting out his career in Milwaukee. He has that bat right in front of his chest, and he looks like a hitter.
Want to keep him off the bases because he's a stolen base threat. Worked out for him last night. Had a couple of stolen bases.
He scored the first run of the ball game after stealing a base in the 3rd. And Happ loses him. 3 walks in the first 2 games here. This is an unusual 2-game series. As we mentioned, Arizona will go to Colorado and play the Rockies. Part of a 3-team tour. Philadelphia, Toronto, and Colorado.
Blue Jays will play Arizona right after the All-Star break. There's a trip out to Oakland for the Jays and then a stop-off. Just like this one, an off day, then 2 days, and then an off day for the Blue Jays.
19th and 20th of July.
In Arizona. It'll probably be about 120 degrees there now because it's only about 110 there now.
Bill Goslin, the 3rd baseman, he flew out his first time up. It was after the first pitch. You know, Chip Hale, the manager of the Diamondbacks, was talking to me about the heat. And he said, you know what, our guys are flying on off days. If we choose to travel on an off day, they'll fly the day before to get out of the heat. They'll take their families on the roads. For instance, if they're going to Colorado, they will leave after a day game in Arizona to take advantage of the cooler weather in Colorado.
I don't blame them. I mean, that's got to be suffocating, spending the summer in that. Same thing with Texas. That can get stifling.
This fly ball is going to go into the seats out of play. The Diamondbacks have won 5 games in a row, and overall they've won 6 straight road games. So they're playing pretty well on the road. They've last won 7 road games in a row in June of 2014. Off the end of the bat, he stays alive. Look at where Arizona is in the National League West. It's a tough division with the Giants and the Dodgers atop the division. San Francisco has a 5.5 game lead over the Dodgers and Colorado. Colorado's got a juggernaut of an offensive team, but they haven't been able to get the pitching together. There's a base hit to right. And that gets by Siciliani, and Segura's going to come around to score all the way around the bases, and Kozlin ends up at third base. Siciliani got fooled by the turf. That ball kicked to his left and went past him all the way to the wall.
You know, if you're not used to playing on this turf, it can be very tricky. The ball doesn't bounce true like it does on grass. There's some English on this ball as he slices it to right field. Watch it hit and then shoot right past Siciliani. That will score a run for the Diamondbacks and leave a runner at third base. He was anticipating that ball bouncing right up to him, but it doesn't happen here.
It is a single and an error on the right fielder. Matt Williams waving around Segura, who scores all the way from first. It's a 3-1 ball game now.
Well, that's unfortunate. You can come out here and you can try and replicate it by a coach hitting you fungos, but it's not the same as the ball coming off of a big league bat. The best thing you can do is come out here and take some balls off the bat during batting practice.
Yeah, those are similar to what they are in the game, but still there's a lot of spin on that line drive off the bat of Kozlin.
It's a good pitch. Jay wanted that one, and so did Russell.
Russell wasn't going to throw the ball back. 3-0 to Goldschmidt. You bet he got the green light. Russell's having a chat with the home plate umpire, Mike Everett. He's the crew chief and a good umpire. Another pitch down on the corner, ball 4. Second walk of the inning, and go back to the base hit by Kozlin and Siciliani in right.
First start in right field in his career, first start as a Blue Jay, and I'm not real familiar with the turf here. There's a lot of bad hops out there with that ball coming out there. You got to really play deep and play cautious out there, or that ball's going to get by you.
Well, Siciliani now anxious for the third out of this inning to come right now with Ricky Weeks at the plate. First and third. Weeks struck out on a high fastball to end the first inning. Goldschmidt at first can run. Jay Happ's aware of that. Goldschmidt has 9 steals in 12 attempts. He's a complete player.
Yeah, great fielder, power, good hitter, can run. See how they play it here. Weeks has good numbers in his career versus Happ.
Fouls it back. As you pointed out, Jay Happ has racked up some strikeouts against Ricky Weeks. When he struck him out in the first, that's the 8th time that Happ has struck out Ricky Weeks.
Little four-seamer up around the letters, couldn't catch up to it. Watching Goldschmidt over there at first base, every time Jay picks up his leg, he starts back to first base. Doesn't feel real comfortable right now with Jay Happ's move.
Well, the important person in this situation is Weeks. You really have to focus on Ricky Weeks. Yeah, you don't want him to steal, but at the same time, you don't want to forget about the guy at the plate. Two and one now to Weeks. Happ has walked 2 this inning, 3 in the ball game. Chip Hale in his 2nd season as the manager. Weeks laid off that outside pitch. It's 3-1. Another walk, that'll load the bases. 3 walks in the inning. And all this started after the first 2 were retired.
2 quick outs, couple of lazy fly balls into the outfield. Walk, single error, walk, walk. And right now we're in the 3rd inning, and this is the highest walk game so far for Jay Happ. And the ERA is starting to get a little bit higher. April outstanding, 276, and a little bit higher in May and June. His June starts have been at Detroit, Baltimore, and at Philadelphia. It's 4.5. So that brings Pete Walker out to the mound to give him just a little bit of a blow.
This is the 15th start for Happ. And when you have a pitcher getting up over 18, 19 pitches in an inning, you start to think about the fatigue in that particular inning. So Pete Walker went out to give him a break. Wellington Castillo struck out his first time up. And now Happ's getting squeezed.
Well, you watch the body language after that last pitch by Jay Happ, and he bent over at the knees, and now Russell's having a conversation with the home plate umpire saying, hey, I need that pitch. My guy's throwing a good pitch. I need it.
Well, and it's not like Happ's been all over the place. He's been around the plate all afternoon. And he's got to have those pitches. He's making good pitches and not getting the calls. Yeah, if you got a guy that's shotgunning it up there and scattering the ball all over, I can understand it. But Jay's been around the plate. Ball and a strike. Another good pitch. Look at those 3 pitches.
Clustered right on the outside corner. Tough to do anything with that ball if you're hitting right now.
Boy, this screams for a high fastball.
High fastball, yeah. Down and away, 3 of them. 4-seamer right at the letters. Get it up.
Here it comes. Well, it wasn't up, but it was over the plate. Castillo said that's not a strike. But Mike Everett rings him up. Jay Happ has walked 4 and struck out 4. When we come back, it'll be Devin Travis. Then Josh Donaldson, who's doubled. Encarnacion has walked and scored. The Blue Jays have a 3-1 lead.
Overall pick, they selected DeMar DeRozan. They have the number 9 again. Will they get a star or will they trade it? It is quite possible. You'll find out tomorrow on the NBA Draft live from Brooklyn. You can watch it on Sportsnet and Sportsnet 1. Tabby, I know you're a big Hoops fan. What do you think Derrick Rose to the Knicks today?
How about that for Robin Lopez, Jerian Grant, and Jose Calderon? I think that's interesting. He's missed more games than he has played over the last few years. So Phil Jackson must know something, right?
I think so, and it's pretty interesting. Phil Jackson, he has had a great run as a player, coach, general manager, done it all.
Got to have a good team in New York. I think that's strong for the NBA. If the Knicks are good, just like when the Yankees are good, it's good for baseball.
Yep. Devin Travis will lead things off. He popped out to the second baseman his first time. Ball in the strike. 3-1 Blue Jays. Broken bat, little tapper out in front of the mound. Travis is retired.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
That hit him. Donaldson hit by a pitch. He'll go to first base. So JD's been on base both times he's come to the plate.
You know what he did a good job of right there? Turning away from the contact. Instead of standing straight up and trying to get out of the way, he turns on this pitch on the inner half, and it just grazes his jersey. You are taught as a young player to turn and protect your hands, tuck them behind your back. Worked out for Josh.
It's really hard for Josh because he's got all of his weight on that back leg with that high leg kick. And if he doesn't get down, obviously he can't make a move, but he got that front foot down and was able to get out of the way. Edwin walked and scored in the first. He didn't get anything to hit. I think he unbuttoned his shirt on that one. He had a mighty cut at that high pitch.
When he's seeing the ball like that, seeing it out the pitcher's hand, he's got that ability to just crank it up as hard as he can. But then when they go soft on him, throw him a breaking ball, he can lay back on that back leg.
Wow, that went off. Ray's got a good arm. You can see why they're excited to have him. I tell you what, Arizona's done a nice job. Their starters have gone 9-3 in their last 13 games. A 270 earned run average. Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, has got a nice core to work with. And they just got Shelby Miller back, the youngster.
Zach Greinke's been great. Archie Bradley's been great. We get to see two of the left-handers right here. Mike Butcher's a good pitching coach. He's worked with some pretty good staffs over the years. He was talking after Ray's last outing, saying that his tempo's been a lot better. His tempo and his delivery, he's done a better job of keeping under control in his recent outings. Not getting a little bit too quick. He says he's putting himself in a good position to throw every pitch in a better power position by quickening up his pace, his tempo just a little bit faster. That time he bounces it.
Donaldson had his eye on second base, but Castillo did a good job of getting out and getting on that ball in the dirt.
You know, when you put yourself in a better position like that, you can deliver the ball and repeat your delivery. That's the one thing that they're trying to get Robbie Ray to do, to repeat that delivery just a little bit more consistently, and I think you'll see more strikes. Earlier we were talking about his whip is very high. It's because of a lot of base on balls.
Ground ball. Shortstop Ahmed Segura. That's a routine 6-4-3 double play that ends the bottom of the third. We'll go to the fourth. The Blue Jays lead it 3-1. Here comes the Ultimate Cleanup Crew, brought to you by Home Hardware's exclusive line of the Ultimate hard hitting and tough on grime cleaning products.
Fans, the 2016 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot is here. Head to BlueJays.com and choose your favorite Blue Jays and send them to the big game presented by MasterCard on July 12th in San Diego. Vote today, vote tomorrow, vote at BlueJays.com/vote. The good news is that Josh Donaldson is now second in voting among third basemen, but if you want to see someone like Michael Saunders or Edwin Encarnacion there, you have to get on and start voting because there's not much time left, Buck.
No, there's not. The All-Star Game will be here before you know it, and they close the All-Star voting a week ahead of time, so make sure you log on and vote for your favorite Blue Jay players and get them to the All-Star Game. It'll be in San Diego this year.
That should be a lot of fun. San Diego is a great town. It's a great ballpark.
Peter O'Brien. Happ gets that fastball right by him. O'Brien struck out in the second. Happ has struck out 4, and he's also walked 4.
He hasn't been able to elevate that fastball when Russell Martin calls it. They wanted to go back there again with 2 strikes, and everything was down that time. He's got one of those invisibles, if you will, those 4-seam fastballs that seem to get on those hitters quickly.
That cutter in the dirt, he buried it, and you're right. I think he's aware of that, and he's a little bit leery of trying to elevate that pitch. He's missed down when he's trying to run it up.
Yes, a couple of times. Here it comes again. One more time. There you go. That's where you want it, up there.
Arizona has just 1 hit. That was the Goslin hit. That Siciliani committed an error that allowed Segura to score all the way from first. There's a breaking ball down, and he strikes out O'Brien. Yasmani Tomas, he's got some power. We saw that on display last night.
This is an inside pitch from Marco Estrada. That is a long way to left field in the second deck. Gives him 10 home runs. Looks like he's going to be a 20 home run threat.
This is his second season in the big leagues. It's a career high for him, 10. He had 9 last year. He's got big power. I saw him play for the Cuban national team in the World Baseball Classic in 2013 in Japan. And you could see then he was a powerful hitter. He, of course, was a teammate of Jose Abreu, who was also on that team. And Abreu, as we know, signed with the White Sox to become one of the best power hitters in the American League.
They got him in the right position now. They have him in the outfield. Came up as a third baseman. But he looks like a right fielder, doesn't he? He reminds me of Jesse Barfield.
Yeah.
I mean, the same type of build, strong lower half, and lots of power.
Breaking ball, gets a piece of it. Of course, Cuban has relaxed some of their regulation. Cuba has now, so they have allowed players to leave Cuba to play. And there's a couple of players I met today during batting practice from the Cuban national team that are playing in Kitchener this summer. They actually played on the Cuban national team in the WBC. This ball's going to hit the warning track.
Are they getting ready for the WBC?
Oh, yeah. Cuba's always ready for any kind of international competition. And, you know, we've seen how many great Cuban players have come to the major leagues and performed very well. There's a young second baseman that has just left Cuba and is in the Dominican Republic filing papers to become a free agent, Jose Fernandez. And I saw him play. He can swing it. He looks like Robbie Cano.
That's all I need to hear.
Yeah, he's a good player. He was on their team in 13 in the World Baseball Classic.
Lefty, righty?
A left-handed hitter.
Left-handed hitter?
Yeah, second baseman.
Second baseman.
Yulieski Gurriel is the one now everybody's talking about him being signed and going right to the big leagues. And he may be a little bit past his prime, but he is a terrific player and another good hitter.
So many good players all around the world. Have to get them into your organization.
Ball is drilled to right field. That's going to get down and go up against the wall. Siciliani plays it off the wall. Here's the throw to second. Not in time. Tomas fouled off several pitches before getting one out of the plate, and he drills it to right. That's his 14th double of the season.
He was only hitting 144 with 2 strikes this year, but once he got to 2 strikes, he shortened everything up. Barely even moved, just used his hands this time. Slice that ball down the right field line. That shows you the kind of power that he has the other way. That was a line drive short hop off the wall in right field. It's a good piece of hit right there with 2 strikes.
1 out. Nick Ahmed, the shortstop, go out to center field his first time up. Pulls it on the ground. Donaldson at third. And plenty of time. 2 away.
The all-new Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Just about dinner time, and that stuff looks pretty good to me, Mr. Tabler. But you said you were going to eat it.
No, I'm not eating dinner tonight.
Okay.
I had a big lunch.
I'm going to check with you tomorrow. 2 outs. Blue Jays have a 3-1 lead. Center fielder Michael Bourne takes the first pitch strike. We mentioned Bourne won a Gold Glove with Houston. He actually won back-to-back Gold Gloves in 2009 and 2010. Then he was an All-Star in 10 in Houston, and in 2015 with the Atlanta Braves he made the All-Star team.
Cleveland.
3 times he's led the National League in stolen bases.
Yeah, very fast runner at one time. Cleveland paid a lot of money for that too, signing him as a free agent, and it just didn't work out for him there. Pretty good numbers with runners in scoring position. Outfield shading Bourne to left field.
They appealed down the third base umpire, Ryan Blakely, and he said no swing. Also smothered it just in case there was a swing that went too far.
Jay was going to reach back for a little something extra right there on that breaking ball. Pulled it right into the other batter's box.
Base hit up the middle. Tomas being waved around third. Pillar's throw toward the plate is cut off, and Bourne does it again. You mentioned his good numbers with runners in scoring position. He's made it a 1-run game. RBI number 11 for Michael Bourne.
That is another 2-out hit that scores a run for the Diamondbacks as they come up with it. That's a fastball. They tried to go away, but it is up and hits it right underneath the glove. Watch Jay try to reach his glove down to get that one. Finds its way into the outfield. Really no chance for Pillar to throw out that runner. So the ball is cut off by Smoke, and 2 innings in a row now they've had a 2-out base hit to score a run.
They mentioned Bourne's ability to steal bases. He's stolen 3 bases, been caught twice this season. For his career, he's got 329 stolen bases. Bunt down the third baseline. Happ goes to his knees, nearly in time to get Segura. Gene Segura drops down a beauty of a bunt. Picks up his first hit of the afternoon.
Couldn't roll it out there any better than that. You just got to get it down with that kind of speed. No chance for Jay or Josh Donaldson to come over and make that play. It's a heck of an effort, though, by Jay Happ. Heck of an effort.
So Russell out for a little visit with Happ. 2 outs, a run in. The Diamondbacks have already managed more hits today than they had in the entire game last night. They had just 3 hits all night last night, but 1-4 to chew. They have 2 runs on 4 hits so far today. Inside, 1-1. Yasmani Tomas with the double has scored the second Diamondbacks run.
Diamondbacks have the right runners on base. Their 2 best base runners, their fastest base runners on base. If there's a gapper, they're going to be looking to score a couple of runs. 2 outs, 2 strikes. The guy you got to be worried about is standing in the batter's box.
Shorten up Bourne a bit with that spin move from Happ. 1-2. Gosling, he got the first hit for Arizona in the 3rd. Upstairs, it's 2-2. There goes the runner, and Bourne broke. Then he stopped. Tulowitzki knocks it down, recovers in time. Throw out Gosling at first. Bourne broke for 3rd, then stopped. Tulowitzki may have been distracted, but he has time to recover. Blue Jays still have a 1-run lead.
with the #1 rated travel rewards card in Canada. It's the WestJet RBC World Elite MasterCard. Visit rbc.com/WestJet to apply today. Another great day to be out in the WestJet flight deck.
It is indeed. It's a terrific crowd here. A late afternoon start, and they've been entertained by a good ball game. Well, 41,000 here for last night's game, and it's going to be a bigger crowd than that here this afternoon.
Get used to it here at the stadium this summer. It's a good team to come out and enjoy watching.
A lot of good things going on in and around the ballpark all summer long, so make sure you log on to BlueJays.com and check out what the activities are, what the promotions are. There are going to be a lot of them. Russell Martin has been griping about the strike zone, and now Michael Saunders gets one called off the plate for a strike.
Really slows his body down when he throws an off-speed pitch. Well, as a hitter, you might be able to tell what is coming. He's got a great arm. In fact, he is averaging 10 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched, which is pretty good. He's got some developing to do. Just some inconsistencies in his release point right now.
Three and one to Saunders. Ball four. Drive of the game is brought to you by the all-new Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Well, if you were with us in the first inning, Russell Martin does this. He knows he got it. 3-2 fastball, 3 runs on the board very quickly with Russell Martin's 6th home run of the season. This afternoon's drive of the game brought to you by Russell Martin in the first inning.
Good way to start for the Blue Jays. They were up 3-0 in the first. Now it's a 3-2 ball game. Russell shows bunt, takes a strike. Gosselin was deep at third. Now he's almost even with the bag at third.
He might back up as soon as the pitcher starts on his way towards home plate. That was just a decoy right there from Russell.
Big swing and a foul tip into the catcher's mitt. 2 strikes now, so the third baseman doesn't have to worry about a bunt in this situation. 0-2 to Martin. He strikes out. That's the 4th strikeout of the afternoon for Robbie Ray.
Told you he's averaging 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's the 4th highest mark among left-handers. Take a look at, listen to some of these names. Clayton Kershaw's #1, of course. That's a pretty good breaking ball right there. Russell swings over the top. Drew Pomerantz, who you really like, and Rich Hill is on the DL. Robbie Ray right up there.
Yeah, and you can see why. He's got good stuff. Just a matter of commanding his fastball a little more consistently. Misses with that first pitch to Tulowitzki. Troy struck out on a high fastball his first time. Blue Jays grounded into a double play in the 3rd. 71st double play they've hit into this year. It's a fly ball. Tomas, the right fielder, makes the catch. 2 down. Justin Smoak lined out to the shortstop. His first time up, he had a good swing and hit it right on line to the shortstop.
the kind of guy that Justin Smoak really likes. Hard thrower. Keeps the ball down. If you get yourself into fastball count, let's see what you can do with it.
Borderline strike low to start the at bat. Flirting with danger down there. Smoak's a very good low ball hitter. They always talk about keep the ball down. Well, some guys you want to keep the ball up. Smoak's one of those guys.
He is, and he's already hit one home run right-handed.
Fly ball to center field. Right fielder comes over, and Tomas makes the catch. So we'll go to the fifth. The Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker in the Samsung broadcast studio. And after a day off tomorrow, the Blue Jays will head to Chicago to take on the White Sox, a 3-game series that starts Friday night. Aaron Sanchez will open up that series. Harry Dickey will go Saturday. And then off to Denver. Colorado will play the Rockies for 3 days, and then they'll have the final homestand begin with the Cleveland Indians. It's a 4-game series. Leading up to the All-Star break, there'll be 10 games on that final homestand before the All-Star break, which starts after that game on Sunday, July 10th against the Tigers.
11 games. 4 games with Cleveland, 4 with Detroit, and 3 with the world champs.
You're right, 11. 2 4-game series in that homestand.
And one of them is against that Indians team, the first place Cleveland Indians. How about that? They're 40-30, 2 games over Kansas City in the American League Central.
I'm really surprised Kansas City's been able to hang in there. They've had some devastating injuries, but they've won 8 of their last 10. Cleveland's won 5 in a row.
Colorado is no slouch either on that road trip. Blue Jays haven't been out there for a while. Remember the last time they pitched or they played out there, there was a big pitching matchup. Was it Ricky Romero versus Ubaldo Jimenez?
I think it went about 6 innings because of rain.
Yeah, it was freezing rain out there.
Paul Goldschmidt hits a leadoff single. That's his first career hit against the Blue Jays. It leads off the 5th. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Syndergaard went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs on 8 hits, didn't walk batter, and struck out 4. Well, I think everybody in baseball is hopeful that he doesn't have that dreaded diagnosis of Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, I mean, that guy was having an unbelievable year.
8-2 with a 2.08 earned run average.
Lots of strikeouts. Probably would have been an all-star this year.
Well, no telling what's going on with his elbow. He might just have felt something and they get it checked and he could be back. No problems. Ricky Weeks takes one down and in. 2-0 to Weeks.
Mets lost another starter last night.
Bartolo Colon left with a thumb injury. Left in the first inning.
4 pitches into that game.
2-0 to Weeks. Ground ball. Donaldson has to come across from third and he goes for the bare hand and didn't make it. Boy, we have seen him make that play so often. You expect him to be able to make the play, and that's the only way he had his shot. It was just a slow chopper in front of the shortstop position, and Donaldson cut in front.
He says he just feels more comfortable catching that ball barehanded. He says that off this turf, you're just never sure how that ball is going to bounce. So instead of trying to catch it in the glove, transferring it just takes too much time. He says, I like to go with the bare hand. That time he just missed it.
It's a hit for Weeks. Back-to-back singles to start the 5th. Gavin Floyd starting to toss in the Blue Jays bullpen. And you can see he's just kind of getting loose. No urgency just yet.
Well, he was a former starter. And as a starter, you have a little bit more time to get loose. He's had to learn how to get loose a little bit quicker as a reliever. Blue Jays are pretty consistent at that 100 pitch mark that the starter is usually out of an inning. Jay Happ's getting up there pretty quickly. That was pitch number 89. It's been a battle for him so far this afternoon.
Comes up with a big strikeout. That's been a very important weapon for Jay Happ this afternoon. The strikeout. That's 6.
This Blue Jays Rogers 4K broadcast is powered by the Samsung 4K SUHD TV.
Pete O'Brien, he has gone down swinging twice. Jay Happ needs another out. Castillo and O'Brien have struck out all 5 times they've stepped to the plate.
And use another one right here, a ground ball at one of the infielders. He has been battling the Diamondbacks this afternoon. He doesn't have that pinpoint control.
He went around. Well, we talk about starters, and a starter will make 32 to 34 starts during the regular season, and we've talked to Hall of Famers, we've talked to Cy Young Award winners and asked them how many times do you go to the mound and have all your pitches together, your command is great, and you have optimum stuff. And they will say 5 to 8 times a year.
Yeah, if that, right?
Yeah.
And that's where all of your pitches are working. All in the same game. It doesn't happen too often.
Oh, another strikeout, and that's 6 strikeouts for Castillo and O'Brien, they've struck out every time they've stepped to the plate.
That helps. First two runners get on board here in the fifth, and Jay can finish him off. That looked like a slider one more time to get the out. You know, if you have one pitch in a game, you can compete. If you throw two pitches in a game consistently, you can dominate. You get three, you're winning the ball game.
Yasmani Tomas doubled down the right field line. His last time up came around to score the second Diamondbacks run. See how they approach him this time. He had a good at bat. He fouled off several pitches and got a pitch out of the plate that he drilled to the wall in right.
He had the big home run in yesterday's game. Two-run home run in the fourth inning after a walk to Ricky Weeks. That ball was inside. They went outside and he hit the ball to right field.
Breaking ball. He fouls off at the plate. Happ has thrown 95 pitches. You're right about the Blue Jays and their starters, how they really monitor the number of pitches. By my count, 118 pitches, the most a starter has thrown this year. Back in April 27th, Marco Estrada threw 118 pitches.
That's a good place to pitch this guy up like that. One of those games, he had a shutout going or had a no-hitter going. Remember, Jay Happ had a shutout in San Francisco and threw 8 2/3 and just couldn't finish it off. They extended him just a little bit more in that ball game.
Threw 111 in that game.
Yeah, and that's why. But you're right around those 100 pitches. That's when they usually go to the bullpen.
1-2. Upstairs. Goldschmidt started the inning with a single to center. Ricky Weeks had an infield base hit to third. Then Castillo struck out, O'Brien struck out, and now Yasmani Tomas has a 2-2 count. Laid off that breaking ball, 3-2. So with 2 outs, the runners will be moving on the pitch. Tomas is a dangerous hitter.
He had a 2-strike double that last time on a pitch that was away from him. We might go back upstairs on him right here.
Went to the breaking ball. What a job by Happ and Russell Martin. First and second, nobody out. And then he strikes out the side. He got Castillo, he got O'Brien, and gets Yasmani Tomas with the breaking ball. Happ has a 1-run lead.
DraftKings Sports Service delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. To the bottom of the fifth, let's get you back now to Buck and Pat.
Thank you, Barry. It is a beautiful afternoon here at Rogers Center. Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead. Kevin Pillar takes a first pitch strike. Jay Happ did a terrific job of getting out of a jam, striking out the side, top half of the fifth.
Blue Jays have to figure out Robbie Ray. They got 3 quick runs against him in the first inning and haven't gotten a runner to second base since.
Ground ball to the hole, it's short. Ahmed makes a nice play, scooped it first, not in time. Kevin Pillar legged it out. Hustling out of the box, earns himself an infield hit.
Hit that one in a good spot. The only guy who can make the play was the shortstop, and if he could have thrown the ball on the fly, maybe he gets him. The backhand just can't get enough on that throw as he's going away from first base. It bounces and Pillar beats it out for another infield hit. It's an easy call right on the base before it hits the glove. Blue Jays had the leadoff batter on last inning and couldn't bring him around.
The right fielder, Daryl Siciliani. On his birthday, he's 26 years old today. He struck out his first time up.
This would be a tough guy to hit and run on right here.
Yeah, he doesn't throw it over enough.
Doesn't throw it over enough, but he throws hard. 2 reasons why. Plus, Siciliani is a left-handed batter, but if you've got John Gibbons, you might gamble at some point in this at bat.
Strike one. Siciliani got some time with the Mets last year. He appeared in 39 games in New York, had 68 at bats. He had a home run and 3 RBIs. He has not had a sacrifice bunt in his career.
He's thinking the same way. Tough left-handed pitcher, left-handed batter. You put the bunt on, you got to make him throw a strike, #1.
Castillo, the catcher, has thrown out 35% of the runners this season. Pillar had an ill-advised attempt at steal of third in last night's game and was thrown out by Chris Herman. That ended the inning.
It'd be tough to have a straight steal against Ray and Castillo. With the left-hander, they got to make sure that he goes towards home. And you mentioned the numbers that Castillo had. Pretty good.
Castillo out now to have a chat with Robbie Ray. First time the Blue Jays have faced Ray, and you can see he's got a good arm. Chip Hales, the manager, very pleased with the development of this pitching staff. It's come along very nicely during the 3rd month of this season. Three and one. On deck is Devin Travis hitting in the leadoff spot this afternoon, and Donaldson and Encarnacion, of course. So this is the man that Ray really wants to retire.
Yeah.
Left-handed hitter.
This is the pitch right here. This is where, if you're Daryl Siciliani, say, I want one pitch in one spot. That was it.
Had a good cut at it and fouled it back.
Fastball out over the plate. Start the runner here. It would be tough.
Very hard. He's only struck out 4, but Blue Jays have grounded into a double play already. But you might get a runner in scoring position for the top of the order. I say he's starting. Not running. And he strikes out. 1 out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, the Cardinals have a lot of character. We've talked about that here in the booth this afternoon. They win 3 in a row from the Cubs, but now they still are 9.5 games back.
Yeah, that cut the lead to 9.5.
Yep. First pitch strike to Devin Travis.
You know, with that strikeouts, Robbie Ray has now struck out 5 batters. That is 14 straight starts that he has struck out at least 5 batters for the Diamondbacks. That's the longest streak in team history since Curt Schilling did it in 2013 when he had 13 straight starts. You can see why they like him. He's got a pretty good arm.
Oh, and 2 to Travis. He stays alive. Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead. They scored all 3 of their runs in the bottom of the first. Arizona scored a single run in the third and added another in the fourth.
They were threatening again in the 5th before Jay Happ pitched out of that trouble with 3 strikeouts. Got to figure out a way to get these runners around. Got a runner on in the 3rd and left him out there. Got the leadoff batter on in the 4th and the leadoff batter on here in the 5th.
Devin can cover that outside pitch. His mindset is such that he wants the ball out of 3/4 of the plate, and he'll fight off the inside pitches, but his sweet spot is out over the plate.
And he can put charge into a ball. He's got a little bit more power than people think.
There's that pitch inside half of the plate. He got a piece of it. Good hitters like Travis, you foul off the tough pitches and wear out the mistakes.
Yeah, and then wait for one to get it right into your sweet spot and then hit it. That's still throwing pretty hard.
Yeah, he hasn't lost a beat off his fastball. Quite a battle going on here. 97.
Yeah. Still throwing hard here. He's thrown 85 pitches and we're only in the 5th inning.
He threw over 30 in the first. He retired the side in order in the 2nd and 3rd. He got a double play to end the 3rd.
This will come down to the bullpens. Looks like Jay Happ is already out of this ball game. He's right around 100 pitches, and we see Gavin Floyd still throwing. He's getting close to 90, Robbie Ray. So you got to figure he's getting close. So it's going to come down to the bullpens again.
J. Happ has the lead. He's in line for his 9th win of the season. There's that inside pitch, and he got a piece of it.
You think you can sneak one by him in there? He's too quick in there. Then they go outside, and he's able to handle that pitch too. These are the types of pitchers that Devin said when he was on his rehab, he just didn't see too many of them. They just don't throw that hard or as consistently as you see in the major leagues.
All right, chased the breaking ball, and Pilar read it perfectly. The ball was in the dirt. He gets to second on the stolen base. Travis strikes out. They crossed him up and threw him a breaking ball after a long battle against Ray.
Kept pumping those fastballs in there and then pulled the string on him, threw him a breaking ball. Kept it out of the zone. That looks like a fastball. If you're battling in this situation here with a couple of strikes and a guy's throwing this hard, that looks like a fastball. And you commit soon. And Pilar reads it and moves up.
Well, Mike Butcher, after that long at bat for Ray, gives his left hand a little breather right here. Obviously a pivotal point of this game with Josh Donaldson at the plate. Then Pilar at second in scoring position. Arizona's bullpen has started to go to work. That is Zach Godley, right-hander, trying to get loose in a hurry. Josh Donaldson has doubled, and he was hit by a pitch. Got hit on the first pitch of his last at bat. Inside fastball just brushed his jersey. Best way to get hit by a pitch.
That's the best way right there. You don't even feel it. He got hit with a pitch earlier this season from Liam Hendriks. Hit him right in the thigh. He said that really traumatized that left leg. It really hurt him.
I've been told that the Pilar advance to second was on a wild pitch, not a stolen base. Josh tried to hold up and went around 97, and boy, he's kept his velocity right up into the 6th inning.
He sure has. Free and easy delivery. You saw that check swing by Donaldson. I think he did the right thing there. Tough to check your swing on a high fastball like that. That one got him.
That breaking ball coming into a right-handed hitter. If you do get a piece of it, it's a good chance you're going to foul it into your legs or into your foot.
Got to walk that one off. That one stings. One more time. Slider down and in. You get on top of it, and it actually hit him on the back foot. Felt that on his right foot.
Donaldson. This boy is a pretty good pitch. He just slapped at it and fouled it off.
He almost kept it fair.
Blue Jays have 3 runs on 3 hits. Arizona 2 runs on 6 hits. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Donaldson strikes out, so we will go to the 6th. The Blue Jays clinging to a 1-run lead. They'll go to their bullpen. Gavin Floyd coming on to start the 6th. Today, 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, and the 4 walks really helped elevate his pitch count along with those 8 strikeouts.
Yeah, the 8 strikeouts was a season high for half. He got 6 of them from 2 guys, Castillo and O'Brien, so he will now give way to Gavin Floyd, who last worked on Sunday. 2 very good innings against the Baltimore Orioles. 6 up, 6 down for Floyd, and they're looking for the same thing this afternoon. Stroman started that game, Marcus, on Sunday. He was knocked out in the 4th inning, so they had to go to the bullpen. They used 5 relievers. Gavin was one of them. 2 very good innings with a couple of strikeouts.
So Gavin Floyd will try to protect this 1-run lead. It'll be 8-9-1 for Arizona as Nick Ahmed goes after the first pitch.
I'll tell you, we're at that point in the ball game where it can't be any fun for a hitter right now, trying to hit through the shadows.
We talk about it often, and unless you've experienced, it's really hard to really understand the magnitude of how challenging it is, because the baseball is dark and now difficult to pick it up. That's off the end of the bat, but Pilar is going to get there.
The all-new Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Center fielder Michael Bourne had a single, drove in a run in the 4th. Right back over the mound. You can see Bourne is talking about how difficult it is to see right now, and he is standing in the shadows, as is Floyd, the pitcher. Imagine this: next time you play catch, put your sunglasses on a cloudy day. That's what it's like. You really don't have any contrast to white baseball, red seams. There's no background.
When Michael Bourne steps out of the batter's box like that, he's actually in the sunlight. Think about this. So your eyes, the pupils get a little bit wider to let in all that light. Then he steps into the batter's box and he's in the shade. And now his eyes have to adjust once again. So he's just going to stay in that batter's box to try and see the ball. And he's not seeing it. 3 really good pitches from Gavin Floyd ends that at bat very quickly.
Yeah, you can't see much right now, and Floyd had the advantage. He drops that curveball on the outside corner. And that's really the most difficult pitch to pick up because you just can't see the spin on the baseball. And when you hear hitters talk about it, they truly can see curveball spin, slider spin with good light.
When they can see it, you're right. But in these circumstances, you're not real sure of the slider or the fastball. You can't differentiate.
Top of the 6th inning, Arizona won last night 4-2 on just 3 hits. Breaking ball, it's 3-0.
Why can't we throw a strike to Gene Shakura?
He's walked 3 times into 2 games.
He came into this with just 11 walks on the season into this series. And it's 3-0 again to the leadoff batter.
Three and 1 now with 2 outs. Had a good cut at that high fastball. Gavin Floyd, about 3 weeks ago, just hit a wall physically. He really ran out of gas, and they backed him off a little bit. He regrouped. He's thrown the ball very well. As you mentioned, his last outing Sunday was terrific. 6 for 6, 6 up, 6 down.
Very crisp. His breaking ball was a lot better. He was throwing it for strikes. He was spotting his fastball.
Breaking ball hit in the air to right. Siciliani is there, and Gavin Floyd, a good start to his outing. 3 up, 3 down. Will lead things off for the Blue Jays, and so far this afternoon he's 0 for 1, but he scored a run. And as you look at his season, it's really understandable given the fact he had very few at-bats in spring training. No official at-bats.
I think it was 5 at-bats down in the minor leagues, and then he started off April under 700 OPS, but like the weather, it's getting warmer outside, and he is now starting to heat up also. That OPS is at a season high right now.
'61 RBIs for Edwin. 18 home runs. That's a tough pitch. Encarnacion leads the majors in RBIs. He's 2 ahead of David Ortiz of the Red Sox. Nolan Arenado at 60 into today's game. Make it 62. Get up and gone. Home run number 19 for Double-A, and take the Parrot for a ride. He had to hit one today.
He had to. On Edwin Day, they were passing out T-shirts honoring Edwin and the Parrots. They're all over the place here this afternoon. Edwin takes care of business with a long home run. Number 19.
62nd RBI.
That one had to feel good.
Little breathing room for the Blue Jays.
One more time, fastball right where he likes it. He's hit plenty of them. He knows we can break it down a little early now.
11th home run allowed by Robbie Ray this season. Well, when he hits them, they go. And that guy caught it, and then he dropped his ice cream. Michael Saunders takes a breaking ball, 2-1.
You just knew he had to do something special on a day like today. When they honor you, if you will, with a T-shirt giveaway.
Saunders hits it deep to left field. That's slicing and goes into the seats. Well, Edwin Encarnacion began his career in Cincinnati, and look at the interleague home run since he's come in with the Blue Jays. 2010, he's at 38 interleague home runs. That leads the majors. Bautista has 34, along with former Blue Jay Colby Rasmus. Nelson Cruz of the Mariners has 32. And Edwin, leader of the pack, and he's extended his major league lead in RBIs to 62. Saunders strikes out. That's the first out of the 6th, and here comes Chip Hale, the manager, and he's made the call to the bullpen. So Robbie Ray's day has come to an end. He's thrown 101 pitches, and he strikes out Michael Saunders, so he will leave after 5 1/3. He'll turn things over to the bullpen. Blue Jays have a 4-2 lead. Pitcher for Arizona is Zach Godley, the right-hander, coming in relief. Godley is 26 years old. He was picked up from the Cubs in a trade for Miguel Montero in December of 2014.
Yeah, he was originally a 10th round draft pick by the Cubs. He signed for $35,000, started his professional career. Came over here in the Miguel Montero trade, like you said. He was just recalled from AAA on June the 11th. Sinker slider. That's about what you're going to get, and a little bit of a curveball from Zack Godley.
Russell Martin takes a first pitch strike from Godley. Look at Ezekiel Carrera. He's got his pet parrot out there to acknowledge the home run. Edwin with his 19th homer. Russell hits the breaking ball back to the mound. Godley throws low, but Goldschmidt bobbled it, had control of it, and the umpire at first, Jordan Baker, calls Russell out.
Yeah, you have to have control of it. Goldschmidt's got good reflexes over there at first base. That throw was a little offline. Blue Jays are going to take a look at this one. One more time, he spikes it, but he's out. Looked like he snow coned it in his glove, and then it popped out, but he alertly grabbed it with his bare hand to record the out.
2 down. Troy Tulowitzki's gone over 2 so far. Perez going to have to pack that thing on the road now. He's getting some sunflower seeds to feed his parrot.
If it means he's going to hit a home run, you gotta pack that thing.
Get him a seat. There's a deep drive to the left. Get up, ball. Get up, and gone. Troy Tulowitzki. His 10th.
We were talking in the opening that Tulowitzki is starting to come around. He was slugging over 600 the 2 weeks before he got injured. Had to go on the disabled list for 3 weeks, and since he has come off the DL, he's starting to pound the ball. Homered against Chris Tillman, and now he homers against the Diamondbacks, number 10. He is so much more aggressive at the plate. He's not letting those pitches go by. He's getting ready to hit as soon as he steps into that batter's box.
Well, that's a great point, and you're right. There were so many times early on when he looked like he was in between. Now he's up there thinking about hitting and getting a good pitch and driving it. 5-2 Blue Jays, thanks to a couple of home runs here in the 6th. All the Blue Jay runs coming on home runs this afternoon.
Doing it again. Right out over the middle of the plate. You can see the head down, and got all of that one. One more time for Tulo. Balance. He's just warming up because he's going to Colorado next week.
He is looking forward to a return to Coors Field. First time since the trade last July. To 1 pitch. Smoke fouls it off, and he goes down in a heap. Donaldson hit one off his foot earlier in this ball game, and not sure where that one got Smoke.
Godley's got that cutter. That's going to bring George Poulos out. The cutter, that Smoke, he's acting like it hit him in the knee. We've seen that before, where you get it out in front so much that you foul it right off your knee. Let's see. cutter that's coming in right off the back knee.
Well, right off the side of that kneecap.
Ow.
And that hurts. And obviously, there's not much to protect those bones there, and that kneecap, of course. You get one squarely off of that, and it could be a significant injury. They're going to give him time to regroup, put some weight on that thing, and test it out. Feels like getting hit in the knee with a bat. It really does. Yeah. I mean, it absolutely shocks you. And as we saw, Smoke was knocked off his feet.
I got hit by a pitch one time, not just a thrown pitch in that same area, and actually cracked a bone in my knee. And it just, you know, you put weight on it and it just hurts. Smokey's a valuable guy in games like this with the defense late in the ball game. Don't want to see him have to come out of this game. The backup first baseman is DHing this afternoon, and if he would have to come out of this game, it would probably be Ryan Goins over there at first base. So he's a valuable guy, so if you're okay, step back in there.
And Goins is aware of what might happen. And breaking ball way out in front of home, and Smoke still feeling the effects of that foul ball. 3-2 to the big first baseman. Smoke called out on strikes, but the Blue Jays have a big 6th inning. They get a couple of home runs. A leadoff home run by Edwin Encarnacion on the Edwin T-shirt day, and Troy Tulowitzki. A 2-out home run. The Blue Jays have a 5-2 lead.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Well, it is Edwin Encarnacion T-shirt giveaway day, and obviously the parrot is a center of focus, and they're trying to make sure that that parrot gets enough nourishment, so he's going to be flying a lot. Ezekiel Carrera brought out the parrot, and they propped him up there on the bench, and why not?
Worked out nice for him. Drew Storen for the 30th time. 1-2 with a 5.33 earned run average. That ERA keeps going down. He's pitching much better.
First pitch, ground ball to second. Travis to first in time, and Gaston's retired. One pitch, one out for Storen. You're right. He is really starting to throw the ball well, and this bullpen's starting to come together. The addition of Gavin Floyd has taken some pressure, or excuse me,
Jason
Grilli has taken the pressure off Gavin Floyd, and now Storen starting to throw much better.
Everybody's finding their roles right now. Everybody seems to be throwing a lot better.
Well, and the Blue Jays got good news last night down in Dunedin when Franklin Morales and Brett Cecil both pitched in a rehab game, and they both threw well. Both of them going an inning. It appears as though Brett Cecil will be the first to arrive, given the fact that he was with the club, went through an entire spring training, and the foundation he had of work prior to the injury is in place.
Those are two veteran left-handers that could do a lot for this bullpen. They just haven't had the experience from the left side this season when those two guys went down.
Storen's slider certainly has gotten a much better bite on it lately. You can see how late it breaks and how quick it is.
Yeah, it's good, and his changeup has been good. We've seen the fastball start to tick up a couple of miles per hour here and there. He last worked on Sunday also in that game in Baltimore.
Fly ball down the right side. That drops for a fair ball. Hits up against the wall, and Goldschmidt has his second hit of the afternoon. He's 2 for 2 with a pair of walks.
Pretty good piece of hitting right here from Goldschmidt. He came into this game at 285 inside out swing. Just muscles this ball down the line. Nothing you can do defensively for the Blue Jays to keep him off of second base. He's just a good hitter.
He came into this ball game 0 for 13 against the Blue Jays for his career. He has 2 walks and 2 hits this afternoon. Ricky Weeks 1 for 2 with a walk. Both Goldschmidt and Weeks have seen Storen in the past, obviously. Storen pitched with the Nationals before coming over here to the Blue Jays.
'94 with some movement. That's what I mean about the fastball. It's ticking up a little bit as the season goes along. Getting the arm strength. He's also throwing a pretty good changeup now, so Drew actually has 3 pitches he can work with.
Slider and strikes out Weeks.
Good depth on that slider. He started it in a good spot. His last 6 outings have been scoreless, and he's also had 6 strikeouts coming into this one. He picks up another one here. Look at the spin and the rotation on that thing to put away Ricky Weeks.
He's allowed runs in just one of his last 11 outings. And he's done a nice job of putting things together here. Wellington Castillo, the catcher, he's had a rough day at the plate. Struck out 3 times against Jay Happ.
Diamondbacks won last night with 3 hits, and they struck out 14 times last night and still won the ball game. They've struck out 10 more times this afternoon.
Good life on that fastball. It came back and caught the outside corner. The Blue Jays have a 5-2 lead. 2 big insurance runs in the bottom of the 6th. Castillo fouls that one off his foot.
Got to be careful with this guy. You mentioned he's got 8 home runs. He just has 200 at bats this year. He'll strike out. And if you get that ball close enough and make a good pitch, you can strike him out. He comes into this at bat with 58 strikeouts and just 13 walks this season. What are we going to get? Maybe that good bender?
Good time for a slider. Storen is set. He steps off the mound. He wants another sign from Martin. Changeup and a good one. Good inning for Storen. Gives up a single and strikes out a pair. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th.
A new and exciting way to stream sports. Sportsnet now lets you live stream your favorite sports without cable TV. All you need is the internet. Start your free trial today by visiting sportsnet.ca/now. On these afternoon games, Buck, it's nice to be able to sit at work and kind of watch the game while you're sort of working.
I don't think there's a lot of people thinking about work right now, Barry, at this ballpark. They're having a great afternoon. They may have taken half the afternoon off and came out to the ballpark. Big crowd on hand. Over 46,000 in attendance today.
Treated to a good one. Seen some home runs by the Blue Jays. Russell and Edwin and Troy Tulowitzki.
All 5 runs the Blue Jays have scored this afternoon have come on the home run. Kevin Pillar had an infield hit his last time up. Blue Jays have now hit 107 home runs for the season. Baltimore has 109. Kansas City has passed Seattle and 104 started play.
Kansas City. Is that who you said? Kansas City passed Seattle?
I may have, but I meant Toronto.
Okay.
Ground ball to short. Ahmed throws to first in time. 1 down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. The Parrot was out early today. 3 home runs. Martin, Encarnacion, and Troy Tulowitzki. Now Siciliani gets his first start as a Blue Jay. He struck out twice on his birthday.
Got to do something on your birthday, don't you? Do something special.
Jason Grilli loosening up for the Blue Jays. He has been used a lot in the 8th inning, and you can see Osuna behind him, loosening up that right shoulder. In the air, popped up on the right side of the infield. The second baseman Segura makes the catch.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY Expert Sale, only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
Beautiful afternoon at Rogers Center, and Blue Jays holding on to a 3-run lead. Devin Travis has gone 0 for 3 this afternoon. Got a hit streak at stake. That's a pretty good curveball, but it's inside.
Eight-game hit streak for Devin Travis on the line. He got a hit in his last at bat last night to keep it going.
One and two now with 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Another curveball, and good inning for Zach Godley. 3 up, 3 down. We'll go to the 8th. Blue Jays lead at 5-2. Jason Grilli coming on to work the 8th.
This year's kit includes a Blue Jays ball cap, sunglasses, backpack, and more. Exclusive access to members-only events such as a movie night and photo day with Blue Jays players. Purchase your membership kit at any Jays Shop location or by visiting jayshop.ca. And a reminder, our next Junior Jays Day is coming up July the 2nd, right here at Rogers Center. Buck?
Long way away, as the Blue Jays are going to be traveling for the next short while. July the 2nd, that'll be Cleveland in. And remember, Canada Day, July 1st, it'll be an afternoon game as well. So you have 3 consecutive 107 starts in that July 1st weekend. Jason Grilli on to work the 8th.
Jason pitched in last night's ball game. Had a 1-2-3 8th inning with a strikeout. He has now struck out 12 batters over his last 6 outings. Taken over in the 8th inning for the Blue Jays. In fact, he and Osuna both pitched in last night's ball game.
Hard breaking ball. I tell you what, when you get Grilli some adequate rest and Floyd, they can come out and shut you down with good breaking balls. They both have nice breaking balls. They're hard. They're very controllable.
You know, they've also pitched for a long time, so they know themselves. They know their routine. They know their body. They know how to get big league hitters out. But you're right. You have to give them some rest. Jason's 39 and Gavin's 33. Got to give them the proper rest. Make sure that arm can bounce back.
Pete O'Brien drops one in front of Saunders for a single. O'Brien's aboard for the first time. He had struck out in his 3 previous at bats. We mentioned it's a great crowd here at Rogers Center. 46,967. It's a sellout crowd, the 15th sellout of the season for the Blue Jays. A terrific afternoon crowd responding to that 4 o'clock start time, and they have turned out in big numbers.
All year long they have turned out. Blue Jays have the highest increase in their per game attendance this year.
Yasmani Tomas, the big right fielder, gets a first pitch strike. For the 2 games against Arizona, Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon, 88,805. Terrific turnout. And today the Blue Jays have responded very well. They have a 5-2 lead.
They're up over 1.3 million now this year.
Ground ball. This should be a double play. Travis to Tulowitzki. Back to Smoke. It is a 4-6-3 double play. And Grilli gets that ground ball, turns it over to the middle infielders, and they turn it.
He got that fastball right where he needed to, right in on the hands of Tomas, so he can't extend. And with the new slide rule at second base, all you have to do is clear yourself and make that throw. That's an easy double play for the second baseman and the shortstop. Tulowitzki doesn't have to deal with that guy sliding into him. Makes an easy play.
You made a great point in our conversation with Orlando Hudson yesterday around the batting cage. When's the last time we've seen a middle infielder leave his feet?
I haven't seen one all year.
They don't jump out of the way. They don't have to. In fact, they would encourage contact. Then they might get the double play. Jake Lamb is pinch hitting with 2 outs. He's batting for the shortstop, Nick Ahmed. Lamb started in the game last night, and he had a rough night. Struck out all 4 times he came to the plate. Lamb struck out 3 times against Marco Estrada, and then Osuna got him to start the night. There have been some swings and misses in these 2 games.
Yes, there has. 14 last night for Arizona. 11, 12 more this afternoon. 11, check that, 11 strikeouts this afternoon by the Diamondbacks.
Blue Jays have struck out 10 times. He strikes him out. Russell Martin throws the first to complete the strikeout. Good inning for Grillick. Leadoff single, double play, and a ground out. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Blue Jays are up by 3. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker from the Samsung Broadcast Studio. Randall Delgado comes into the game. He makes his 31st appearance of the season. He's on in relief. Zach Godley did a nice job coming out of the pen, except for one pitch, that home run to Troy Tulowitzki.
And that was about it off of Godley. 1 2/3 inning, one hit, that one home run. That'll give way to Randall Delgado. He's got a nice free and easy delivery. He's got a very good arm. 33 strikeouts in 34 innings.
Belgaza moves from third base to second base. Segura moves from second to short, and the pinch hitter Jake Lamb takes over defensively at third. Donaldson, Encarnacion, and Saunders for the Blue Jays here in the 8th. Randall Delgado signed as an international free agent with the Atlanta Braves in 2006. Arizona traded for him in the Justin Upton trade. Chris Johnson also going in the opposite direction. It's a nice trade as they picked up Nick Ahmed, Randall Delgado. They got a lot of bodies in that deal.
Martin Prado was in that deal also.
Donaldson strikes out, and that'll bring Edwin Encarnacion, who brought the crowd to its feet, back in the 6th.
Everybody was waiting for this right here. Catch that fastball deep to left field. They're honoring him by giving away a free T-shirt this afternoon. The Ed Wing right there. There you go. And he doesn't let the crowd down with home run number 19. Give the Blue Jays a little bit of extra breathing room.
19 homers and 62 RBIs. Drills this one to left. That is a foul ball. Down into the corner, just hooking foul at the last moment.
There is not a lot of room down in that left field corner. He got that ball out in front. And watch this thing. Hook, hook, hook. Just foul.
Roberto Osuna is loosening up. It's a save situation at 5-2. Joe Biagini looks like he has thrown a bit. He's just kind of standing by. He might throw a little bit no matter what happens, given the off day tomorrow. Blue Jays had an off day on Monday, played these 2 games, and they'll have an off day tomorrow. They'll travel tomorrow and go to Chicago to get prepared for the series on Friday. 3 games in Chicago, 3 games in Colorado.
And then 17 straight after that off day tomorrow to take us right to the All-Star game.
So that's when John Gibbons will really pay attention to how he uses his bullpen to make sure everybody is rested and they spread out the workload. It would really be nice for the Blue Jays if they could get Brett Cecil back in that stretch of games. And you know what? I bet you if he makes a couple of more appearances on his rehab assignment without any problems, no setbacks, they'll call him right back up.
Yeah,
he's a big league pitcher. They know what he can do when he's healthy, and he's pain-free right now. So he threw 9 strikes out of 10 pitches in his inning of work last night.
We asked Ross Atkins yesterday, do Brett Cecil and Franklin Morales, do they have to throw back-to-back days, 2 days in a row before you call them up? He said no. And he said they're big league pitchers. They know how to handle it. We'll do that up here if we need it. But that would be nice because you start thinking about all the left-handed hitters that you're going to see on this road trip.
I can think of one in Colorado that I'm concerned about.
Carlos Gonzalez?
Well, Nolan Arenado too.
Oh, okay. The righties,
yeah.
Anybody.
Encarnacion his second walk. Take a look at the probable pitching matchup for the White Sox series.
It'll start off with Aaron Sanchez versus Carlos Rodon. That will be on Friday night. Saturday afternoon, R.A. Dickey versus Miguel Gonzalez. And then Sunday to finish it up, how about this one? Marcus Stroman versus Chris Sale. So the Blue Jays get a couple of more lefties in that 3-game series against the White Sox.
Sanchez will start on Friday, and that's right back to the pitcher. Delgado throws a strike to Segura, who returns the throw to first for the double play. Second double play turned by Arizona this afternoon. We will go to the ninth. It's a 5-3 ball game. Roberto Osuna is set to come in for the save. It's the White Sox in Chicago to take on the Red Sox. It's on Sportsnet 1. So make sure you stay tuned for more baseball action. Jose Quintana will go to the mound for the White Sox. They're closed by Eduardo Rodriguez. A couple of left-handers in that game coming right up after this one.
Into the ball game now. Roberto Osuna's 32nd game of the season. Outstanding earned run average. He's 13 for 15 in save opportunities. He picked up that 13th save way back on June the 3rd when the Blue Jays played the Boston Red Sox. He was off for about a week. They shut him down for just a little bit so he can recuperate. And the Blue Jays have had so many blowout games, there just hasn't been many chances for him. So this is his first save opportunity since June the 3rd. Also in the ball game, Darwin Barney taking over at third base, and I suspect that has to do with that foul ball off the foot of Josh Donaldson.
Michael Bourne, a number 9 hitter, had an RBI single in the 4th. So misses with that pitch downstairs, 1-1. Ground ball, foul, wide of first. Blue Jays bullpen has done a nice job today. Gavin Floyd, Drew Stohr, and Jason Grilli, now Roberto Osuna. What they did too is they were very efficient. Floyd threw 12 pitches, Stohr threw 15, and Grilli needed just 10.
Shutout baseball. Jay Happ in line for the win. He left this game with the lead.
Would be his 9th win of the season against 3 losses. Gene Segura, he's a good looking player. He's had a nice series defensively and at the plate. 3-2 pitch. Jay Happ's career high in wins came back in 2009 with Philadelphia. He went 12-4 that season. So he is in line for his 9th win, well ahead of the All-Star break. Over Osuna, Travis on the run, throws Bourne out.
Kevin Travis, that's an underrated play right there. You've got some speed in Michael Bourne, and he's going to be playing deep because there's 2 strikes. Look where he's coming from. Got to catch that ball full bore coming in, and then throws a strike over to Justin Smoak to finish it off. He's played a good second base. I like how he turns the double play.
Just his 21st game at second since coming back from that shoulder injury. Gene Segura had a bunt single in the 4th. He walked and scored in the 3rd. Underneath both those fastballs, and he falls behind 2-1. Baltimore will welcome in San Diego. Second game of their series. Boston and the White Sox play right after this game on Sportsnet 1. Underneath that pitch as well. It's 3-1. The start of play today, the Blue Jays 2.5 back of the front running Orioles. Game and a half behind Boston.
Trying to stop that losing streak. Blue Jays have lost 3 in a row. So has everybody else in the American League East.
Everybody yesterday lost, and they all had losing streaks. Tampa Bay's lost 6 in a row. New York's 2 in a row. They won that game today to snap their mini streak. Blue Jays trying to do the same. Bouncing ball. Travis, another tough play. Throws quickly. Not in time. Segura can scoop. Travis came after it hard. He knew he had to make a quick throw.
You know, he's got such a quick transfer when he catches the ball with his glove, and how he can get his hand in there and then get a lot on it. From up here, it looked like they got him over there at first base. One more time. Watch how quickly it's in his glove, and then it's out, and then he fires a strike over to first base. Justin Smoak stretches.
He's out.
Yep, they're going to check this one, and I think it's going to go the Blue Jays' way. When is it in his glove? Right there. He's not on the bag yet. Hasn't hit the pillow.
Watch the bag compress when he makes contact with it. There.
Right there. How about Segura keeping an eye on the baseball, watching it get into the glove as he was crossing over the base.
This replay review is powered by Samsung. Boy, that's close, but it looked like he hadn't made contact with the base before the ball hit the glove.
One more time, Travis gets a lot on that throw. You can see he's going away from it. And it looked like Segura got right in the middle of the bag. Ball's in the glove right now. And it does not look like his foot is down on the bag.
It's going to be interesting. You're right. Had he stepped on the front edge of the bag, he probably would have beat. Call on the field is that Segura is safe on the infield hit. It would have to be definitive in the minds of the replay officials in New York.
When do they determine that the ball is in the glove?
They have changed it because the technology has become so good. If it touches the leather, that is deemed a catch as soon as it touches the leather. And that's a great shot right there. His heel hasn't come down on the base. Dave McKay, the Canadian longtime coach, been with Tony La Russa a lot, and there's the call. He is out. Well, the Blue Jays now have 2 outs as Segura is called on. He has a hit taken away from him.
Boy, that's a huge play right there. Huge call. 2 outs, nobody on, or 1 out, a runner on first base, and you got to face 2, 3, 4. I don't want to face Goldschmidt. If you're John Gibbons, that's who you don't want to see come up into this game.
This is Phil Gosselin, who has moved to second base. He started at third. He bunts it in the air. Martin's got it. And that's the ball game. Osuna picks up the save. The Blue Jays split the 2 games with Arizona. For the Jays, that's their 40th win of the season against 34 losses.
And it stops that 3-game losing streak. Osuna gets his first save since June the 2nd. And the Blue Jays hit the long ball, had the power. June the 3rd was his last save. Home runs by Martin, Encarnacion, and Tulowitzki was all they needed. Blue Jays made the most of their 5 hits, scoring the 5 runs and coming away with the victory.
3 home runs, and that provides all the offense that the Blue Jays would need. Jay Happ picks up his 9th win for Osuna. The save. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Friday night from Chicago. Here's Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker.